Hello, I'm so happy to be guiding you through research in this session. My name is Sarah Lowe, and I'm a subject librarian at IUPUI University Library. When you go to college, remember that there are subject librarians like me at every university, and we're here to help you with any part of the research process. You'll need the research process anytime you're doing something that requires supporting information. So if you are writing a poem, you probably won't need the research process. But if you are writing a paper on gun control, for example, you'll likely need the research process. Let's get started. Our learning outcomes for today are, I hope that by the end of this session, you should be able to know what resources are available to you as a student in Indiana. You'll be able to describe the research process, and you'll know how to search strategically based on your information need. Let's start out at the research guide I've created for your class. The URL is actually at the end of your research handout. It's also https://iupui.libguides.com/Westfield. So on the home page, and here's me again, this is my representation of the research process. So your process may look different, and that's okay. It will likely evolve as you move into college and gain more expertise in your discipline. The first part of the research process, as I indicated here, is your topic or your question. So before you start your research, it is really important to have a question or topic in mind. And why do we start with a topic or a question? Well, because it's hard to search for information if you don't know what you're looking for. Starting with a question or a topic focuses your research and saves wasted time reviewing irrelevant material. I'll say that again. Starting with a question or a topic focuses your research and saves wasted time reviewing irrelevant material. This sounds silly, but I've seen many students and myself struggle with trying to find information, in part because they don't really have a good idea of what their topic or question is, or their question or topic is too broad. This is why, if you can narrow down your topic a bit, it can be helpful for searching. As you can see in this example, climate change is super broad. You can probably imagine that there are a ton of books and articles on this topic. So narrowing it down, climate change where, impacting who, can really be helpful. For this lesson, I'm going to be using the topic gun control in the United States. Gun control in the United States. I should also note that often your topic and question will evolve as you look for information. Don't worry if that happens to you. Once you've thought about your topic or question, the next step here is find background information. This may or may not be necessary. You should not skip this step if you are new to a topic and don't really know a lot about it. In my case, gun control in the United States. If I toss that into Google, gun control in the United States, I get some good background information here. So you can see I've got some statistics here from Pew Research. So Pew Research for statistics and data. And then 2 background sources, Britannica and Wikipedia. A note about Wikipedia. As I explain on your research guide, Wikipedia can be super helpful for background information. 1, to give you context on your topic, and 2, to help you think of keywords when you start searching for sources. But with research, you don't normally cite to background information. And why is that? Well, because it's background. It's information you need to do your research. You cite to the research, not the background. The next step is finding materials. And this step really goes hand in hand with step 4, reading and evaluating. I've broken them up into 2 steps here for clarity, but really when you search for information, you are also evaluating at the same time. However, before we can look for information, we need to think about our search strategy. There are different ways to search databases, which I'll demo in a minute. But taking a few minutes before you search to lay out how you will search can save you time and frustration. Because if you search and don't get relevant results, or worse, don't get any results, you'll have a strategy to keep you from getting stuck. 2 common search strategies are phrase searching and Boolean searching. For phrase searching, developing your search strategy is pretty straightforward. You simply put your topic or question in as a phrase, like you'd speak. Based on my topic from earlier, my phrase search would be gun control in the United States. For the second strategy, Boolean searching, we need to do a little bit more work. Going back to step 1 for a second, a researchable question or topic has core concepts, usually nouns or noun phrases that can be broken down into different keywords. We put those keywords together using Boolean operators, which I explain at the bottom of the 3rd page. So Boolean and narrows your search, while or expands it. I put together my keywords using and. In this case, my keywords are gun control and United States. We use or for synonyms. What are some synonyms for United States? Well, America or United States or USA or US. So that is how you put that together. Where you search depends on your information need. You'll notice I have listed different databases on this page. What is a database? At the bottom of the page, you'll see I've provided a definition. A database is simply a collection of materials. We have databases of books, databases of articles, databases of newspapers, databases of data and statistics, databases of art. For this lesson, I'm focusing on articles and databases where you find articles. I'd like to pause here for a second. You'll notice that databases contain scholarly and popular articles. What do I mean by those terms? If we go over here. So what does scholarly mean? What does popular mean? If we look under read and evaluate, remember I said that finding and evaluating go hand in hand. Here I define these source types. Scholarly sources are those written by experts in the field, scholars. Another term for scholarly sources is peer-reviewed. What does peer-reviewed mean? Well, peer-reviewed means the article was reviewed by the author's peers to ensure accuracy. If a scientist writes a scholarly article, then her peers are other scientists who review the article. If a historian writes a scholarly article, then her peers would be other historians. Popular articles are called popular not because they are literally popular, so not Cardi B popular, but rather written for a wide audience, written so that anyone can understand the article. Think of magazines like Sports Illustrated or National Geographic, or newspapers like the New York Times. Both types of sources can be credible and trustworthy. Absolutely, both can be credible and trustworthy. So why the distinction between scholarly and popular? Well, often your instructors will request you to find scholarly peer-reviewed articles because due to the peer review process, they are a higher level of evidence than popular articles, which often only have an editor to review them. Now let's go back to databases. On this guide, this page, I've broken out university library databases and freely available to you databases. Unfortunately, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, you can't take a field trip to IUPUI to use our databases. Luckily, you have access to some of the same databases we have at IUPUI because you are citizens of Indiana. You can come to the library to use our databases. We are open to the public, but if you're under 17, you'll need to be accompanied by a parent or a guardian. And if you come, you can request temporary computer access at the second floor services desk. Today, I'm going to focus on academic search because we have that database both at IUPUI and via Inspire. And also because academic search is a great general database. General database just means it covers a wide variety of subjects. So history, economics, business, politics, etc. This is in contrast to subject databases, which focus in depth on particular subjects. For example, Business Source contains business articles. I almost always start my research with a general database like academic search because when I start my research, it can help me learn which disciplines are talking about my topic. and this casts a wide net. In Inspire, we can click Databases AZ and then Academic Search. I want to point out that all databases pretty much search the same. So what I'm showing you here, you can use in almost all article databases. As I mentioned, you can search in different ways. Today, I'm going to demo the two we've discussed, phrase searching and Boolean searching. Going back to my topic from earlier, using a phrase, gun control in the United States, you can see the database will give me helpful tips. Let me hold that page open to demo the other way to search. And that is using Boolean operators and or. And we do that search from the advanced search page. You can see, so remember that and narrows your search while or expands it. So I put together my keywords using and. In this case, my keywords are gun control and United States. We use or for synonyms. And what are some synonyms for the United States? Well, America, United States, USA, or US. You can see on the advanced search page, we also have other options. So we could choose a field to search if you only wanted these terms in a title, for example. When would you want to use one versus the other? Well, I almost always start my search with a phrase search on the basic search page. You can use this sloppy search, as I like to call it, just to see what's out there. So to see what is out there and to help you determine if there are different or additional keywords you should be using. I do an advanced Boolean search if I am sure of my keywords and synonyms and to get more refined results. If you notice, for this search at least, our first result in both searches is the same. So if you're finding good results with one search, you don't necessarily need to do the other. Now that you've searched, you need to evaluate what you've found. Is it relevant to your topic? Do you need to refine or change your search? Let's go back to the first search page where I did the phrase search, gun control in the United States. Let's look at our results. First, note that almost all databases rank by relevance, just like Google. So if you get a bit down the page and nothing seems relevant, then you might want to rethink your search by changing your keywords. Note the keywords they are using. That can help you refine your search if you need to. In this case, we have other keywords like gun laws and mass shootings. What types of sources are we looking at here? Periodical means something that comes out regularly. In this case, these are popular sources. Periodical, popular. But what about this result? Academic journal. What type of source is that? Is it scholarly? It is scholarly, or peer-reviewed. Academic is another word to refer to scholarly sources. So if your instructor tells you to find peer-reviewed articles in this database, you'll want to look for academic journals. This peer-reviewed source here looks pretty good. To quickly see if it's relevant, look at the abstract, which is the summary of what the article is about. If the abstract looks good, you can move on to the full text. A good tip is when you find a source that is very relevant to your topic or question, to look at the article's bibliography or works cited page to see who they've cited to find other similar sources. So if I scroll to the bottom of this article, I can see who this author cited and go to those sources for additional relevant sources. Let's see. When we look through our results, earlier we evaluated based on the type of source, so scholarly versus popular, but we should also look at other things too. This is where the 6 journalistic question words can help you to evaluate articles. And those are who, what, where, when, why, and how. So who is the author? Who wrote this? And what authority do they have to talk about the topic? What type of document is it? Is it a scholarly article? A newspaper article? Where does this information appear? If it's a scholarly article, that would be a scholarly journal. A blog post is just a random website, so it may have less authority or credibility. When was this source published? This is a big one. For some topics, like history, it's probably okay that an article is a little older. But for other topics, like medicine, you probably want more up-to-date articles. For my topic, I'm interested in a legal issue, gun control. So if I'm writing about gun control now in the United States, I probably don't want to cite to a 20-year-old article, as laws change all the time. Why was this source published? What was the author's purpose? Scholarly articles are usually published to inform their peers about research findings. A blog post might want to persuade you to a certain viewpoint. Finally, how did the author gather data and evidence? Do they cite their sources? Scholarly articles cite their sources. A website might not. For example, some websites give statistics, but then don't explain where they got them from, something that should make you, as the reader, very suspicious. Once you've found information to support your topic or question, the last step is for you to cite your sources. There are many reasons why we cite. To give credit to others' work, to demonstrate to your reader that you've done your research. It allows your reader to find the sources you cite. And finally, because it's the academically honest thing to do. There are several different citation styles. You've likely heard of the big 3, APA, MLA, and Chicago. Which citation style you use will depend on your discipline. Historians often use Chicago, the social sciences often use APA, and literature often uses MLA. Citation can be tedious. Databases try to help with this. Going back to our results, if we look at the right side, you'll see a Cite icon. And from here, you can cut and paste. But beware, these are automatically generated, so they are not always 100% accurate. Trust but verify through the citation manual or a credible source like the Purdue OWL. So that's it. To recap, today we went through the research process, thinking about our topic or question, looking for background information if we didn't know anything about the topic, searching for articles in databases and evaluating that information, and finally citing what we found. It's been a pleasure to be able to bring you this lesson. Hopefully one day I might work with some of you if you choose to attend IUPUI. Good luck with your research, scholars.